You have to pull up to ICCC. It's like mini Star Wars celebration, and I remember like going and being like, "Oh, like is this gonna be like that?" But dude, it paid off. I already know it's this just in. Cole will be there.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. Today we have back on the show Grayson from the Mortis FM YouTube channel. How you doing, Grayson?
Dude, I'm doing great. How about you, man?
I'm good. So tell us a little bit about your channel and where we can find you at.
Yeah, man, it's been about a year since I was on here. Yeah, well, you can find me Mortis FM, me and my buddy Cole. We are Mortis FM. It's on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with us, we're on Instagram. We also put our stuff on Spotify, TikTok, all the usual stuff. We over the past year have started doing. We're still doing the podcast, but we're also we're branching out into some other content. So ever since Acolyte, we took a little bit of a break, and now we're kind of reformulating some stuff. So I've started to do. We got some lightsaber content. We're working on some gaming content soon. So we're trying to broaden our horizons. But yeah, Mortis FM, check it out, please.
Yes, for you guys watching, I'm gonna put the link down in the description. Go show some love. These guys drop fire podcasts. I'd love just listening to you and Cole go back and forth because you could tell you guys have been friends for like a long time.
Almost a decade. Yeah, we met at Star Wars Celebration 2017 in person. We were friends a couple years even before that with Star Wars Battlefront 2015. And it's just me and him been like this ever since, and talking about Star Wars stuff. Yeah, so it's great.
Yes. So the reason I wanted to bring you back on was to talk your experience at ICCC with it being your first con. But before we get into that, you've been to like a decent amount of conventions before that, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not as much as you. I think Celebration was the first big one, and then just kind of a handful here and there. I go to South Carolina Comic-Con every year. They also do one in the fall that's like a 1 day or 2 day event. I think it's just 1 day. It's a junior version. And they don't really have as many celebrities at that, but it's still a lot of just cool, like, quick pickups for sales and awesome cosplayers. And then I went to MegaCon last year. You put me on to MegaCon. I will be back there this upcoming year. I'm very excited about that. And then, yeah, the one that we're talking about today, I think, is ICCC.
Yes. So what made you pull the trigger and go to ICC this year? Like, what made you do that?
I mean, honestly, probably you. Like you were like hammering it into us. You're like, guys, you have to pull up to ICCC. It's like mini Star Wars celebration. It's awesome. It's just a bunch of dudes having a good time, like nothing but love. And that is nothing but the truth. I'll tell you that. Like, I mean, that even though like it really is like a smaller version of Star Wars Celebration, and I remember like going and being like, oh, like is this gonna be like that? But dude, it paid off.
Yes, I know. That's what I tell everyone, and I love it when people like listen and believe me, and like they're like, "Oh my god, like thank you so much." Like one person I met there, she watches my videos and she was like, "Hey, the only reason I'm here is because you recommended it, you suggested it, and I'm having the time of my life." And I was like, that made me so happy to hear.
Yeah.
So the very first day when you first pulled up and the first like couple hours, what was like your initial thoughts and impressions at this place for the first time?
So, admittedly, when I first got there, I was like, this is really small, dude. Like, but it was also kind of deceiving because it's not like most conventions where it's one big floor, right?
Yeah.
It was at the Sheraton, and so you walk in and there's already booths and things set up in kind of like the main foyer area, but then there's more even further back. But immediately, like everything is like really close together, so it doesn't feel as quite as spread out. And I was like, man, like we're gonna be able to like walk through this entire thing in a day. Like I don't know, like is this gonna is this really like, because I, had the hotel for all 4 days. I was like, is this gonna be like worth the whole 4 days? And then it was worth it. Like I mainly because you, Will, Connor, Seth, everybody that we met there. I mean, literally everyone from Neilda to Tiara, Nerd Squadron, like Jose, dude. I mean, everybody was there, and it was unbelievable. And so like everyone just started like trickling in.
Yeah.
Like we got there, and so it was me and Will, Will of the Force. We rode up together, and that was already in and of itself like a blast, because we like went on this whole mini adventure where we like the night before we got dinner, and then there was some lady talking to us about like, how she's super into Star Wars, because we had some Star Wars stuff on, and we were like, oh, we're going to this convention in Nashville, and so she started talking to us, and then we woke up like hella early the next morning to get there, because I think the convention opened at 11, and I wanted to pick up some books to get signed. I'll talk about that a little bit later, because I think that's definitely a big part of the experience. But it was like an hour away from Nashville on the way there, and I DM'd the guy on Facebook, and I was like, I've got the cash. Can I meet you at this time? So me and Will drove up, met this guy in the parking lot of a Piggly Wiggly. Like an hour and a half outside of Nashville. I was like, here's your $25. Thank you. Have a great day. Made our way to Nashville, and then pulled up to the convention, and I was a little bit like, oh man, what's this gonna be like? And then, I mean, within like 30 minutes, I ran into you outside the bathroom. Like and that was the beginning of the fun,
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way too, because my first time was last year, and it was at a different location, and the other location was like massive,
Oh yeah.
massive. So when I saw the floor, I would say at first I was a little underwhelmed, because I'm like, that's it. Like, there's not as much, there's not as many vendors, because what I was used to last year was a lot bigger. But as time went on, and like you mentioned, everyone starts popping up. I start seeing everybody I've ever seen on the internet is there,
Yeah.
which was cool. And it was like, okay, no, this is great. Like after that first day, first couple rounds, I'm like, okay, no, this is going to be a lot of fun. This will keep us busy the whole time. And I knew that everybody that went last year said they liked it better here than there.
Oh
like
yeah.
everyone said, oh, it was better at the Sheraton. I hope they go back. I love the Sheraton, because it's like a whole experience besides the show part.
Right.
So definitely, like, oh, it was so much fun, man. It was crazy. Now, as far as like stuff there to buy, did you see a lot of cool things that you wanted to get, or like what are some of the things you saw that intrigued you, or you picked up while there?
So in terms of like collecting, I'm really into lightsabers, and so there were a few lightsaber vendors there, but I'm really into more of like the high end stuff. So I'm not quite on the caliber of collecting other things like you are. But it definitely, once I got there, I was like, I'm feeling the tug, I'm feeling the pull, and so I've got some stuff right here. This right here, this is a whole story in and of itself, but Will found me this cover from Heir to the Empire. This right here, we got it's the 30th anniversary figure for Biggs. That was at the lobby sale, the lobby swap, which that's an entire thing as well in and of itself, that I just was like, this is crazy. I've got, dude, I think I walked away. I think at the end of the convention, this wasn't even stuff that I picked up at the convention in of itself, but I got, I think I came with one book. Okay. I think I left with 13 books. And most of them, I want to say at least, so 2 of them I got from the guy at the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
Then a handful of them I bought at Timothy Zahn's booth, because he had some that he was willing to sign. So I got, you can see right there, that silver book.
Yeah.
That is the 20th anniversary edition of Heir to the Empire. And I'm sorry, Connor, but Connor was nice enough to let me get the last one that he had. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm out right now. So this is the last one I've got. And Connor was like, it's all you, man. And so I was able to get that. That was something that I really wanted because it has like little author annotations and stuff throughout the book of like Zahn's thought process, which I'm just a sucker for. And then, I mean, I think as we were just collectively just spreading out across the floor between either local vendors who like handmade stuff or just collectibles in general, I'm like, I was finding stuff that was unlocking childhood memories, dude.
Yes.
Like I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this and I never was able to get it as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like those 30th anniversary figures, like with the black, white, and red was like a really specific time period for figures where it was like, it was like kind of like 2009 to 2011, like before the Clone Wars really picked up into like when Maul showed up and everything, but like after the Force Unleashed kind of vibe, like those 3 years, there was a ton of stuff like that. I was in one of those videos, I was able to get that battle pack for Connor, which had Anakin, Asajj, Grievous, and Obi-Wan, and it's like this big battle pack with like, and they have like dioramas in them and stuff, and then of course, you know, tons of TVCs, tons of Black Series. And to be honest, I did get a lot of stuff at the convention, but now that the convention has been over, it's been about 2 months since then, almost 2 months. I have been on a rabbit hole of like just looking online for other stuff. Of like, I'll see a thing that I'm like, oh, they don't have the other one, but I'll just start like looking online to find stuff that like either was at the convention that I wasn't able to get, or it has ignited a spark in me when it comes to like collecting these figures and things of like, oh, I could get this signed, you know? And
yeah.
It started a little bit of an addiction.
Yeah, that's the one thing I liked about ICC the first year is seeing stuff that unlocks those memories. Like, oh, I remember that. I haven't seen that in decades. Or what got me was seeing stuff that I had no idea ever existed. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've
dude.
never seen this before in my life. This is awesome. And I like that feeling, seeing things that I never knew existed Star Wars wise. Like, that's cool. Like, still to this day, learning and seeing things.
Yep.
And yeah, there was just so much cool stuff like that on the floor. And like you said, I got into the mindset of like, oh, I could get this signed, I could get that comic book signed,
yeah, dude.
I could get these cards signed. Like the one dude that had cards that unlocked a monster in me that all of a sudden I'm a card collector. I saw he had a bunch of Thrawn cards. They were like $1 each. I bought every single one, like 4 or 5 of them. And then I went to Timothy Zahn, and like he was only $10 for an autograph. Yeah. I felt like I was robbing him. I bought
dude.
That last day I got like 7 autos, and like I've been giving them away on live streams, and people are so excited because it's such a cool thing. But I think one of the big highlights of that show was Timothy Zahn, because we went the very first day. He was pretty much the first person we went to, and probably the last person we saw. But I remember me and you were the first ones up to him, and you were like, bro, I'm nervous. Like you were nervous. Like, that's Timothy Zahn. I kind of was too. I was holding it in, but it's like, yo, that's the creator of Thrawn, Heir of the Empire.
Had you met him up at that point yet?
No, he was at a show in Florida, but when I went, I forgot to bring my Thrawn thing, so I never went to his table. I was like kind of nervous because like if you go, like you got to be ready to talk to him because this guy can talk,
dude. So he can.
It was so cool when I had him sign the plaque, and I just got to ask him about that rumor about, is it true that you kind of want to write a story about Thrawn and Ezra in Peridia, and how he just went off on a tangent. Like, there's a trilogy there. I would love to write it. I'm waiting for Dave to finish his story so I could take it. And that was just so cool.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, every day we went to him. What was your favorite part of Timothy Zahn, those combos?
Dude, oh my gosh, man. Like, we've got footage on footage, and I don't know if any of that, like some of it we can't show. Some of it is like the audio is a little bit, dicey or whatever. But I mean, that first day, so it was weird because Mark Thompson and Timothy Zahn, we talked a little bit about, a lot about this on Beyond the Dune Seas episode when we were on there. But like the first day, the Thursday, they were like tucked in a corner.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like super weird. So like they were just like literally both next to each other in this corner on the far side. And like no one was, I mean, there was people that were kind of lined up for Timothy Zahn, but like no one was really talking to Mark Thompson. And I was like, these dudes need to be like out front and center. So they did correct that mistake. But so the next day they were out like in the middle of the show. But even then, that did not deter our ability to be able to speak to these people. Maybe way too much. Maybe they were getting annoyed with us, but if they were doing a good job at hiding it because I was having a great time. And so yeah, when we first walked up, we were all together, and I had some books that I was ready to get signed, and I was like, I don't know what his like demeanor is going to be like. I really try when I meet people to not act like a little fanboy, because they're like, yeah, kid, whatever, and so I'm always like, I just try to act like I'm just just treating them like a person, I guess. And so when I first got up, I was like, admittedly, I felt a little bit like a fraud because I had not fully read all the books. We're currently reading through them right now. But what I had read so far, I was absolutely loving. And I just had such a reverence for him as an author and what he did for shaping Star Wars, in the 90s and then going forward into the prequels, just how much he added to the mythos. And so, I was like, well, what do I say? I can't be like, I don't know, like, because I haven't read as much as I would like to, I feel kind of like a fake fan. Well, then I think it was, so we went up to his table on the first day, I think 2 or 3 times. I want to say maybe 2 times because I had some things I wanted to get signed, and then Connor and I came back to get some more things signed. And so the first time I was just like, oh, I'm loving, like, I'm reading Heir to the Empire right now. I'm loving it, whatever. And he's like, oh, that's great to hear. And then Will and I were able to get a picture with our Tatooine Traders air shirts. And that was awesome. But then maybe that was the second time, either way. So then when we spoke to Mark Thompson and then eventually Aiden Cook, the performer for Two Tubes, we kind of, what I want to say, for lack of a better phrase, we unlocked the secret of how to talk to these people, right? And it's frankly just asking them a question that they're passionate about. Find something that they're passionate about and just let them just word vomit, like, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way. Like we were eating it up, right? And so when we spoke to Aiden Cook, we found that key of like just asking him little things and of like, oh, is that you? Connor and Seth wanted to know if he was in Solo. And so, I mean, we sat there talking for at least 30 plus minutes to Aiden Cook. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to ask, I don't remember what we first asked about Timothy, what we asked him. I think honestly, it might've been about my campaign that I was doing.
It might've been that, or when I went with you and Connor, it might've been asking about the Luke, why it had the double U's. And I think
that was the following day.
Yeah,
because I think we had, on the first day we were all kind of nervous, and the second day we realized like, oh, he's gonna just answer these questions. He's not afraid to answer them. And so I was like, well, I had been thinking about putting Mara Jade in my tabletop campaign, and I was like, I'm just gonna ask him a question. I'd be like, listen, he's this proficient storyteller, and in a way, GMing these stories for these nerdy tabletop games is you're curating a story, right? And I was like, well, I'd been thinking about putting Mara Jade in the campaign, and I was like, I asked Will, I was like, should I just go ask him like what he thinks about it? And they were like, yeah, do it. And so I went up and I was like, I got him to sign something else, and I was like, so I'm thinking about putting Mara Jade, I'm doing a tabletop campaign. There's this story, they're going after this ancient lightsaber, but also this ancient site in the Force that Palpatine is interested in. I'm thinking about putting Mara Jade as the Emperor's hand in there. Like, would this make sense? And he was like, well, Mara Jade is typically someone who is hunting people who are treasonous to the Emperor and the Empire. But, if there's someone that's tied to that and it's also of importance to Palpatine, I think you could make that work, He was like, but you have to know that if your party, your friends get into a fight with Mara Jade, they are going to lose. And I was like, oh, I know.
Yes.
And you could tell when I asked him that question about like just talking about the story, the story that has nothing to do with, anything that's coming out right now, he just lit up. Like he literally was you could see his eyes widen a little bit and just him just excited to talk about being a fan of Star Wars. And so the same thing of like, when you asked him about those books that he wants to do about Ezra and Thrawn on Peridia, you can tell he is so excited to do that. And dude, if that happens, Lucasfilm, Disney, Dave, whoever needs to make that happen, I will be there day one at the bookstore. Dude, oh my gosh. And so that was really the key to everything, is just realizing like Timothy Zahn is a massive Star Wars nerd just like us. And so that was what, we asked about the double U and the double in Luke and in Jorah Us.
Dude, that was because I was there the whole time, and it was 26 minutes of him just answering. And it got to the point where we weren't even asking questions. He was like, do you want to hear my fix for Rey in the sequels? Do you want to hear my fix for Snoke? Do you want to hear this? And we were like, yes.
Yeah,
dude. And everything he said was so simple, but made so much sense and enhanced all those stories. Like now in my mind, it's funny. Now when I think of the sequels, I think of Timothy Zahn's version. I don't even think of the ones that came out, just because it makes me happier and feel better.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He has such a passion for like the cohesiveness and the character motivations. Like he really does, I believe, understand the characters of the original trilogy, like especially Luke and Leia and Han and even Chewie, man. I mean, he had a whole series of like different little rewrites and things to make Chewie more valuable. And these aren't things that we can share out there because we don't want to get Mr. Zahn in trouble at all. But it was just cool to see him talk about this stuff, not even just as like a storyteller, but just as a fan. Because you can tell, like, I mean, he's been doing writing these books and things for 30 years. And it was funny when I think he said at the panel, he was just like, I can write just about anything. I can make just about anything work. He's like, maybe the only thing I'd be hesitant is a Jar Jar book, but even that I probably can make work, you know? And I was like, that's awesome. Like, I love that he's so passionate about the franchise to be able to, if he was given anything, like, he's just going to jump at the opportunity and make it work. And of course, when he's, writing things with Thrawn, that's his baby, right? So, and of course he wants Mara Jade to be brought back into canon. I got to agree, make it happen. And then it was funny. I guess this is kind of a good way to, which we've talked about this before, but I love talking about it. And this is more of a Connor and Seth thing, but it was so funny, especially when they moved Zahn to the middle with Mark Thompson. There would be so many times that Will was saying, like, he would be kind of like at both of them, and he would see Mark just looking over at Zahn, just like he's geeking out about it too. Like he's like just witnessing this knowledge that Zahn is imparting upon us, just wide eye and just I was like, oh my gosh, like I think people forget that so many of these people, that make Star Wars and shape Star Wars are fans of Star Wars. They're not doing it just for the paycheck. They're doing it because they love it. They want to be a part of it.
Yeah, so. and Zahn did the same thing too. There was a point where we were all at Mark Thompson's table having a good old time, and then you see Timothy like peeking over, commenting, saying things. He did the same thing. So, like you said, they're literally us, but they just work for Star Wars. And Mark Thompson is just like Timothy Zahn. He's such a fan. It was so funny because you would look over at his table and he would sneak off. And then he'd come back. He'd be like, I just bought my first lightsaber. And he's over there playing with the lightsaber.
Dude.
I was like, that is so random and so funny.
Yeah,
and
dude.
He was so great to talk to because, like, I love the Pokemon stuff that he did too. Oh, he voices Thrawn and a ton of people. So it was just great talking to him. And, like, we went to his table every day as well. And he was just so down to earth.
We were like that annoying group. I mean, I say annoying. I don't think we were actually annoying, but still, like, we would just walk by and be like, "Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Like, need anything?
Need anything?" Yeah, even to the point where we lost Seth, and we go there, and Seth is there for an hour playing that Star Wars CCG game with them, which was so cool. But man, Mark Thompson, man,
Mark Thompson was such a joy to talk to because he is just like, I mean. I found this picture. I'll have to send it to you. I mentioned it, but like, this is kind of a testament of Mark Thompson. I found a Variety article from about 10 years ago where he's at the premiere of The Force Awakens with his sons. It doesn't say anything in the caption of Mark Thompson, voice of the Star Wars audiobooks or whatever. It's just him in full Jedi robe with a lightsaber going,
I think
Just
I've
like,
seen that before.
yeah, and I stumbled upon it and I was like, "You're kidding me? That's Mark Thompson." And that is just kind of like the quintessential image of Mark Thompson as a person, because like I talked to him, like I saw he had a picture of him in his Jedi outfit on the Star Cruiser when it was open, and it's him doing the Obi-Wan Kenobi pose with his lightsaber. And of course, me being the huge lightsaber nerd that I am, not even just in universe, but out of universe, like just from like I love the toys and the different companies and stuff. And I saw his lightsaber and I was like, oh, that's a Saber Trio Aaron, right? And he's like, yeah, that is. Like, how did you know that? I was like, and Will was like, bro, this guy's crazy with lightsabers. Like, he knows. And so when he got that Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber, I was like, oh, did you get a new one? And he's just like, yeah. He's like, do you know how to work this thing? And so like I pulled up the app and I was like, I think you do this, this, and this. And then gave it a second. He's like, oh, thank you, man. Like, and we were just sitting there talking. And then we started talking about the Mortis gods. And we asked, like, I think somebody asked him of like, oh, they would love to see him do a Plagueis audiobook. And he was just like, well, my buddy Danny Davis did Plagueis, but I haven't had the chance to listen to it yet. Ooh. And I was like, brother, you need to listen to that audiobook, bro. Like, you need to read that book. It's so good. He's like, really? I'm like, yes. I'm like, I know you've got like a billion things that you're doing, but like treat yourself and just listen to somebody, like just listen to it. Yeah. Because like there is so much juicy goodness that still fits into canon. And when I told him like there's like an offhand comment of, you know, the Celestials or the Mortis gods, he's like, the Mortis gods are mentioned in Plagueis? And I was like, yeah, because that book came out after the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, and he was just like, dude, I have to read that book now. And I'm like, I'm telling you, man, especially after Acolyte, like, I know you like the Acolyte, you got to get on top of it. And it's just, I mean, it just seeing them light up about all these little things and the different characters in the books and things that they want to do and things that they just like. I mean, being able to talk to Mark Thompson about lightsabers, I was like, that was not on my bingo card for ICCC.
And that's another reason why ICCC like stands out. Mm-hmm. You can never do that or get that personable with the guests ever. So
no.
The one last year, I kind of had that a little bit because like I would be on the show floor and I had Charlie Cox walk right in front of me to go look at a Ninja Turtle van that was there. And I'm like, bro, that's Daredevil. He's taking pictures with Ninja Turtles. And then the next day I'm walking and Ian McDermott is just casually strolling by me. I'm like, bro, that's Palpatine. That was crazy, right? But at the hotel this year, it was next level. The day I got there, I got there a few hours before Ricky. Ricky's like, hey, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. So I go to the front to wait for him to pull in to help him. And Dennis Lawson is just standing right there. And I am so nervous. Like, it took me 10, 15 minutes to say hi to him. Because, like, I didn't want to be like a groupie, like, oh, my God, Wedge Antilles, Captain Wedge. So I kind of waited till he strolled closer to me. And I was just like, hey, Mr. Lawson, I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for coming. And he was like, hey, how you doing? And then we talked about like the weather, being in Nashville, Tennessee for the first time, real quick and casual. Right. I didn't want to be real pushy because I knew I was going to meet him the next day and get an autograph anyway. Yeah. But like, that was crazy. Then we go to Publix to get like some water for the room, some other things. So we're coming back, walking across the lobby, and Ricky's like, yo, isn't that X-Wing pilot? And it was Biggs Darklighter having like wine with his wife in the lobby. I'm like, yo, that's Biggs. So we go up to the room, drop off our stuff, come back for dinner. Biggs is still there having dinner now. We look over, Jim Swearigan from Kenner, the Kenner designer, was there. And then we're eating. And then I look to the left and I see the back of his head, his bald head. I'm like, bro, that's Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn is eating dinner right next to us. And it was just surreal.
I remember
that happened every night.
I remember when you sent that text to our group chat. You were like, dude, we're at table over from Timothy Zahn at dinner right now. I was getting dinner with Will, and I was like, I saw the message and I was like, bro, Tony is just sitting next to Timothy Zahn eating dinner. And he was just like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm not kidding. Like that, that's just, it's surreal, dude. Like, and you would, after the con was over, you would see like, not like just for the day, they would all go get dinner, like down at the little restaurant at the hotel. And they would all just be like one big table, one big happy family. Everybody's drinking and chatting and having a good time. And I'm like, this is insane.
It was like one of the nights. It was crazy because we're there again eating, and we look over and it's just Admiral Akbar, Greedo, Willow, Warwick Davis is right there. They're all just having the time of their life. I look at the bar straight ahead. Ayla Sakura's getting a drink. Wedge is on the other side of the bar getting a drink. I'm like, what universe is this where they're just everywhere? It was surreal, man.
Dude. It's and then I mean we got to talk about the lobby swap where
Oh, so
yeah, you have to talk about this.
So the lobby swap is only one night. It was the Friday night, and that's when everyone goes to the lobby, brings tables, brings their stuff to sell, and then every day they did the room sales. Now the lobby swap I've been to last year, but this year I felt like it was way bigger and lasted a lot longer. The lobby swap was it was crazy, especially when you see Timothy Zahn shopping, you see Mark Thompson looking at tables. It just blew my mind that they're just like us. Timothy Zahn was like, yeah, I bought this Lego set for my son. He loves Legos.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. But what was your impression? Because that was your first time ever seeing that or anything like that. Like when you walked in, like where did your mind go?
That was like, I don't know. That was like the dessert, dude. Like it was like the con was like the main meal. And then it was like, you go there and it's like, oh, and here's just like more. Here, like, and there's stuff that's not on. It's people from their rooms bringing down stuff from their tables, their backpacks, their luggage, or whatever. And you're again finding things that I didn't even know existed. And then I get a message from you, and I saw in your video like Timothy's on walking around in his drippy Chimera jacket, you know, like, and he's shopping. And then of course, like I think it was that night that a lot more people made. I think that was the night that like Neilda and Tiara and Chris, they all got there, and I was like just getting to meet them because like putting like names to faces or handles to faces, you know, and being able to be like, oh, this is who I am, like, and that was just, I mean, I sat there talking to all of those guys, like, and then it'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go look at this table, like, come look with me, you know, or whatever, and then it shuts down, and then it continues because they bring all the stuff up to their rooms.
Yeah, so the room sales, I experienced that for the first time last year, but this year, being a part of it was awesome. I didn't know if my stuff would sell. I brought 2 suitcases full. Dude, I sold everything in a day and a half. It was
That's
gone.
crazy.
It was gone. But my favorite part of the room sales was not just like, you know, making money selling stuff. It was having convos with everyone because it got to the point where we would see the same random people. They would come in every night. Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How's the con going? And then there was one point, it was like Saturday, it was like 11:30 at night, and all of us, it was like 16 of us were all in the room. And it was just insane when I look up and I'm like, bro, there's Mortis, there's Will of the Force, there's Beyond the Dune Sea, Crafting on Ilum, Chris the Nerd Dad, General Kenobi's Bunker, Turntable to the Dark Side, and like everybody was in there, and I'm like, yo, like these are all my actual friends that live all over the world, and we're all in this hotel room. There's pizza, there's Fast and Furious on the TV, there's toys everywhere. I'm editing a video, like this is insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was such a weird like culmination of people just all in the same room, like. Seth is showing us like old kung fu movies, and we're talking about Fast and Furious, and then you know you're just sitting there like I remember like I at one point like I just saw you like just taking it all in, and I'm like this is I mean this is like crazy that all of these people from all over the world are like here in Nashville just in this hotel room like just shopping and all here because of I mean frankly Star Wars, you know, and so I mean I've already got my hotel room booked for next year, and it's not at the Sheraton, unfortunately. But I think you know I got to give just a huge shout out to Michael Havens and all of the people who run ICCC. I was lucky enough to be invited as press, which was the first time that I've ever gotten to do anything like that, and so I felt just like. I felt very seen and like honored because especially because I just am friends with, you know, all of you guys. And it truly was like, you know, one of the best conventions I've ever been to. And like, as long as he keeps doing it, I will be there. Even if I'm not press, I'll be there, dude. Like my hotel is locked and ready.
100%. I always say the same thing. Even if I don't get approved, I'm going no matter what. And it's funny. he was my first press pass ever. Like last year when I went, that was the first time I ever got approved for press was ICCC
Really?
ever. Yeah. So it holds like that specialness in my heart because it was like my first press pass. And I cannot wait for it again because like I feel like we're all going back and there's so many more people that didn't go that already have booked that are
Mm-hmm.
coming that saw our videos that are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm going, I didn't know this existed. So I think it's going to be a bigger turnout. The hotel looks like it's a lot bigger than the other one, so that
Yeah.
should be good as well. But
Do you think it will be since it's moving hotels, but also it's 3 weeks after celebration, roughly? Do you think that's going to impact who will be there, or do you think there'll be more people that'll be there in terms of like
no,
guests and stuff?
I think it'll be fine because like 3 weeks is a good long enough to where they could get back from Japan and get
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to stuff. Because when he said it was in May, at first I'm like, yo, that's we're gonna be in Japan in April.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it would have been the first weekend in May, I'm like, hey, I gotta get back, recover, and financially recover.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the 3 weeks in is almost perfect because like that
Mm-hmm.
second week is Mother's Day weekend, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not affecting anybody there. The last weekend is Memorial Day, so
Yeah.
that weekend's kind of like ideal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it should be good. I think there'll be a good turnout.
Yeah.
It's just interesting he cut it back to 3 because when I went last year it was 3 days. This year was 4 days. It's only 3 days next year, which
Okay.
is fine. I wonder why he cut it though.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna ask him.
Yeah, I'm curious. Maybe it has to do with just swapping hotels. You know, maybe that they just can't accommodate the whole 4 days. Because I know also Thursday isn't Thursday technically like it was VIP only day anyway.
And he's not doing a VIP only day, which I noticed.
Okay.
So it kind of is almost the same, except for just cutting out that
Mhm.
VIP only day.
Yeah, and hopefully that encourages, you know, like I mean, I'm hoping all the people that we got to talk to this past year are going to be there this year and then some, you know, like,
Yeah.
but I mean, if it's the same people, like there was still so many people that we did not get to talk to that I wish we did. Like I really wanted to talk to Chris Bartlett. I really wanted to talk to, is it, what is the girl who played Ayla Secura, Amy Allen. I really wanted to talk to her.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk to Dennis Lawson just because he had a pretty big turnout.
He did.
Even though I would see him outside just smoking a cigarette, basking in the sun, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that all of us can go there again. You know, especially because it's exciting because it's now even sooner. You know, I thought I was gonna have to wait until October, and now I'm like, ooh, it's in May. All right, I don't have to wait as long. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping everybody can make it. And to be honest, ICCC as a whole has just encouraged me in terms of like, you know, as a blossoming creator, you know, Cole and I don't have this crazy following, but like just seeing the support from other people like you and all of our friends and people that I'm now lucky enough to call my friends that, you know, I just kind of knew through the grapevine online has been really encouraging to me and is now kind of set a fire in me to go to more conventions. Like I'm really pumped for Rebel Scum next year.
Yes.
I really want to go to that. And that'll be kind of nice because that'll be that'll be about 3 months after. So, because, you know, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to Celebration, but now I just want to go to these blossoming Star Wars conventions. And so I'm hoping that, you know, Rebel Scum is kind of on that same caliber and it's exciting. And I just being able to like, just hang out with my friends and, you know, that's honestly the best part about it really is being able to be there all for the same reason and just hang out. Like after the convention, I mean, 2 days in a row, like we went over to where Connor and Seth were staying and we were just like, we got breakfast one morning with Tales from Tossie Station and all those guys. And Connor and I were just sitting there. Seth would do this so many times where Connor and I would be talking or like we would just be talking in general and he would just like take a picture and he's like, y'all, you guys are just so cute, you know?
That's
like,
dope though, having those like candid photos.
Yeah, and I would look over and me and Connor would be like, why did you do that? And he's just like, you guys are just having such a nice conversation, you know? And it's like, and also like meeting everybody's significant others and their families and stuff. It just made it, I mean, truly like with our little group, like it felt like family. So maybe that's why Fast and
Yeah.
Furious was playing on the TV, you know? Family.
Yeah, that's what I love about it the most. I mean, yeah, all the Star Wars stuff, the vendors are cool, the actors are cool, the guests, all that stuff, but just seeing your friends and like we were
Mhm.
all pretty much all friends before.
Mhm.
Now it's even like grown even more, and then meeting those other people that you just know from online. And it was so funny because I would hop from group to group every day. I wasn't with the same group. Like I would
Mhm.
be with you guys for a little bit one day, then I would hop over with Chris and Jose for a little bit.
Mhm.
Then me and Ricky would run around. Then I
Yeah.
would hop over with George and Evan from Spice Runners for a little bit. So it was just so cool that no matter where I went, I like all these people and we're all
Right.
like the same, like we're all friends.
Yeah.
And that's why I like ICCC, like celebration, because everybody there is happy, positive vibes, just chilling. It's such a unique thing, and you don't get places like that nowadays where you get that feeling and
Yeah.
that joy and that happiness there. It's celebration, ICCC, and like I think Rebel Scum is gonna be like the same thing. Because when I
Mhm.
saw everyone's videos that were there, I'm like, yo, they're having dinner with Snoke. What are they doing? They're just
Yeah,
he's
dude.
he's interviewing Ahmed Best, like he's behind Ahmed's table. Jose had an interview with him. Like, what?
Dude, I gotta
Yeah.
go. Yeah. There was another one that Zahn and Mark went to, and Lars Mikkelsen was there as well. I think that was
Oh, like
one.
South Dakota?
Yeah, it was like it
Yeah,
was
it was
kind of it was more at
random,
wet. Yeah,
random.
but there
Yeah.
was a ton of people there. I think maybe
Rosario was there. There was a
Amon.
bunch. Yeah, because like there was a lot of the Ahsoka people there. They had a panel there.
Yeah,
Didn't what's her face host a panel over there?
Harley did. Yeah,
Carly did. Yeah, yeah. And it
yeah.
was like and the reason that was on my radar is because I want to get Lars's autograph, but he doesn't do cons. That was like his first con
Hmm.
doing photos and autos. And I'm like, what is this place? And
Yeah.
I think Trilla was there too. The voice actor for Trilla was
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I think that's another reason where I was like, I would have went.
yeah. I have a question for you regarding ICCC. It's a double question.
Yeah.
The first one is, what was the thing for you that you went there and it was not even something that you were even thinking about, and then it blew you away, like that, like just something that was kind of unexpected and ended up being like a huge highlight for you, if you have one.
I would probably say uh meeting Jose, General Kenobi's bunker in
Hmm.
person, and then a few other friends there. And we spent every day together doing
Yeah.
everything. Kind of like just like how we did. It was every
Hmm.
day, breakfast, the show, dinner, room sales. I had that experience for the first time there with a couple guys. And it was crazy because like I like usually these cons, a lot of times it'll be just me and Ricky, or I'll go by myself and just do a couple quick laps. But it
Hmm.
was cool spending the whole day with the group of guys and you're just hanging out and looking for things together. So I would say it was that, making lifelong friends
Yeah.
from that, and then also catching that celebration feeling. Because I literally, as soon as we walked in, I was with Jose, and within 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm not missing this con ever again. Because I got that feeling in the first 5 minutes last year, and I knew it, like, this is for me, and I haven't missed like since then.
Yeah, I mean, that was I have to agree with you, because a lot of the people that were there at the con were people that I followed, and through mutuals, through you, but I
Yeah.
didn't, they didn't really know me, and I didn't really know them. And so I remember, like, at the lobby swap, like I ran into Chris, and I was like, oh, I've hopped into a couple of your lives before. You're really into lightsabers, aren't you?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah. And we talked for like 30 minutes about just different lightsaber companies, and like, oh, I really want this hilt, and like, yeah, this hilt, like I'm trying to sell it and stuff like that. And now, like, anytime I do a live or do a post, like, Chris is always there commenting. And like, I had talked to Tiara a little bit, but now, like, I'm always like messaging her about, like, her new shop that opened, and just like
Yes.
books that we're reading and stuff like that, like cosplays that she's working on, or like, has she ever done this before, because I kind of maybe want to do this cosplay. And yeah, so like applying all of those people, and now, like, we all, like, I know these people, and we're not just some random, or I guess I'm not some random guy online to be like, hey, who's this
Yeah.
Mortis FM guy? Like, oh, okay, this guy, he's maybe kind of cool, I hope.
Yeah.
And then the second question I have is, who is a guest, whether you've met this person or not, that you want to appear in May at the next ICCC?
Oh, so, oh man. I mean, of course, I'd love to say the big dogs, but like it wouldn't be like Hayden or Ewan. If they were happen to go there, they would be strictly business. You're not gonna run into you're not gonna run them into the lobby. So that wouldn't be realistic. But like Ahmed Best, I'm dying to meet Jar Jar. I would love that. I would buy Jar Jar whatever drink he wants. He could get the fanciest drink. Trilla, because like I love Trilla from the game, my favorite Inquisitor. I would love to meet her. I know Tiara would go nuts too.
Oh, dude.
If Trilla. So Ahmed Best, Trilla. Trying to think who else would be like real, like Amanis Fondi. Even though I've met him a ton, I would love, bro. I could see him just vibing out in the lobby at the bar, just hanging out.
Yeah,
for some reason, I see like if there was a piano in the lobby, I could see him there just playing the piano, just vibing out, having a good time. So I would want somebody fun like that, where I appreciate their work in Star Wars, but I feel like he would be a vibe to hang out with, like randomly at the hotel.
Yeah, Amon was one of mine, just because I think he's such a chill, cool dude, and I think you could. I mean, he's just. I mean, I've met him once. You've met him a couple times. Like, he's just he's so conversational and friendly, and he'll talk to you forever about literally whatever. For me, I think the other one that like I'm begging. I've met him before, but I want Sam Witwer to be there. I like if I could have conversations like I was having with Mark and Zahn.
My God,
with Sam Witwer, dude. Like, and Sam is that kind of guy. Like, if you start talking about random stuff, he's gonna just keep going and talking and opening up about it. And I'm like, if I could do that and just be like, yo, like, what do you think about this? Like, and talking about tabletop games, and like, I've been listening to these amazing old live streams from like 10 years ago where him and David Collins, the voice of Proxy, they played through. Have you seen those?
I've clipped so much stuff out of those because they talk about the best stuff, man.
Dude, like they just, it's crazy how much they get Star Wars. Like, and I just being able to see their insight of just two buds like hanging out. Like, I see them and I'm like, I just see me and Cole just sitting there playing games, talking about Star Wars. To be able to have that with them, and like, I don't even need another picture or an autograph or whatever. Like, just to be able to get that kind of experience with someone like that. But I mean, listen, like, whoever they can get, I'll be happy with. Like, again, there's so many people. Like, talking to Aiden Cook was one of the craziest highlights of the entire con, and I would have never have guessed in a million years, like, oh, you're going to go to this convention and you're going to talk for at least an hour and a half total over all of those days with the guy who was in the suit for tutus. Yeah. That not on my bingo card, but like, I am like, I mean, he was just such a pleasure and joy to talk to. And I'm like, man, I wanted to talk to all these other people, and because we were just sitting there talking about these behind the scenes moments and, you know, all of this stuff, I didn't get a chance to meet all these other people, you know? And so I'm hoping that if any of those people come back, I have the chance to meet them and speak to them on that level, but also to be able to just go back and be like, hey, like, thanks for coming back. I'm really happy to see you, Mark or Zahn or whoever. Like, I'm excited to be able to go back to Timothy Zahn and be like, I read all of the books. They were amazing, you know, like, and I'd be like, I'm not fake. I promise. I just, it was ill-timed, you know? So, I hope we get that. And look, dude, if they can get back, I mean, I didn't know that Charlie Cox went the first year, dude.
He was there. Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, Karen Page was there. My buddy had breakfast and like he saw Karen Page was there. And what's the cop's name? Mahoney?
Yeah.
Like, he was there too. So
what?
My boy Sean, he was having breakfast at one of the hotels that was nearby there, and Mahoney was there too. And he sat down and had breakfast next to him, and they were just talking.
That's
like,
crazy.
So he brought like the whole Daredevil cast. There was a Daredevil panel. And what's that guy's name from comicbook.com? Brandon Davis.
Yeah, Brandon Davis.
He hosted the panel. He was there too.
No way, dude.
So
Brandon Davis, and we're the Deborah Ann Woll, who plays Karen Page.
Oh, she had a panel too. Her panel was awesome, and her her husband in real life is blind.
Mhm.
So like that's so crazy. Like that's why she played it so
Yeah.
perfect.
She's really into D&D, and like I don't know if you've seen clips of her like talking about it, and I could talk to her for hours of just about like how to become a better like DM and just talking
Yeah.
about tabletop games and stuff, because again, it's like just talking to these people about what they're passionate about is
Yeah.
honestly what's fun for me, because even if it's something that maybe I'm not inherently passionate about, seeing them light up about it makes it more special to me. Like it really
Yep.
ingrains that special memory of like, you know, just random behind the scenes facts to be like, whoa, like I've never thought about like that. Like Aiden Cook was at one point was talking about like how he played Bulio in Rise of Skywalker as well, and he's
Mhm.
talking about how like his sweat was coming through the mask and hitting John Boyega on the face, and they were like laughing about it, and I'm like, that's like you don't get those kinds of stories often, you know. As much as I love meeting these big dogs, like I met Cameron Monaghan at MegaCon. That was an insane wait for a very brief conversation. Whereas these other guys, I'm just chatting like they're my old friends, you know.
Yep.
So I really hope, and I have no doubt in my mind that will continue to be the experience of the community, and just, you know, by the fans for fans, and it just be one big old party, you know.
Yeah, so last year they had the Daredevil cast, they had the Rebels voice cast there.
I
So
would kill for
it
that,
was
dude.
it was like Vanessa Marshall, she's awesome. Got her autograph. Tia Sakar, I love her.
Mhm.
She's beautiful. She's awesome. Sabine. When I was waiting in line for Taylor Gray's autograph, it was surreal because like hearing him talk to the person in front of me, his regular voice is Ezra.
It's just Ezra.
So I
Yeah.
was like, yo, it's like it's Ezra. It's Ezra.
Yep.
Like that's all that I heard was just Ezra. And I even
Deals
said that
on
to
deals
him.
on deals at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I even said to him, I'm like, man, it's just so real hearing your voice. Like you're just Ezra. He's like, yeah, man, that's just my regular voice. It was so
Yeah.
cool. And Steve Bloom was there. And
Oh my
it
gosh,
was
what a goat.
it was crazy because I told him, I said, hey man, because that was right after, a little bit after he popped up
Mando?
in Mando. And I was telling him, I was like, man, when you popped up in Mando, my reaction, I was shocked. I was crazy. Can I show it to you? And he was like, you recorded it? I'm like, yeah, I have a reaction for my channel. So I got to take my phone out, show him the clip
That's
of
so
like
sick.
when he came in. Cause like I remember watching it and I'm like, Zeb. I was shocked because there was no rumors, there was no leaks. I just see Zeb walk up to the bar and I'm like, I was blown away. And he loved it. He was like, man, post that on Instagram, tag me so I can share it. It was so cool. And
dude, Steve Blum voices everybody, bro.
I know.
Wolverine, Spike Spiegel, Zeb, the Toonami robot, bro. Like everything.
A lot.
Yeah, I would love to meet Steve Blum because I actually have spoken to him once before, and I want to tell him this story, and I'll tell it to you now.
Yeah.
At Star Wars Celebration 2017, on the main stage on the floor, I was up at the very front because that would be a big thing at Celebration is we would just go to that stage and we would just sit there and we would just wait. Like I'd be like, all right, we're going to go shopping. And then I'm like, but no, Harrison Ford will be here and blah, 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 you know, or Tamora Morrison will be here in 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh crap. Okay. I got to wait then, you know, and just being able to like see those interviews live. So Steve Blum came up on stage speaking to Anthony Carboni and they were talking, and this was I believe the year before the final season of Rebels. So season 3 had just finished and season 4 was going to start in the fall and then end in the following spring. So they were talking, and I think one of the final questions that Anthony asked Steve Blum was, oh, if there was another voice you could do in Rebels, what would you do? And he's just kind of like, I don't know. And I was like, and I yelled out, I went, "Do Chopper!" and he was like, "Do Chopper!" And he was like, he made all of these like weird noises, and everybody just started dying laughing. And so I want to tell him to be like, yeah, I was that annoying kid all the way back at Celebration that told you to do the Chopper voice and probably make a fool of yourself. So I'm sorry about that. And I think he would get a good kick out of that because he's someone who, you know, I follow him on social media and he's a very good sport and just what a talent, dude. Like, it
Yeah.
just can do so much stuff. So the only thing that from what I remember, didn't Freddie dip out the first year?
So Freddie, bro. I'm so mad. I have the poster here, and he is one of the few people I'm missing. I got almost all these at ICCC.
That is a fire poster, dude.
Yeah. I need to get Lars, and then I need Freddie, but I got Sam Witwer at Ocala Comic Con. I got to get Ashley still, but I got Zeb, Ezra, and Hera and Sabine, all at ICCC in 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But Freddie, his punk ass, he canceled there. He canceled Spookala in Tampa. So I've given up on Freddie. I don't want his autograph anymore. I'm good.
I do hear that he dips out of conventions pretty often, and that is a bummer for me because I really want to get that signed by him.
Bro. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see.
You're gonna need a miracle.
Yeah, I know he's busy. He's busy doing all
what?
kinds of stuff.
He's not
I don't
doing
know.
Nothing. He's in nothing. What he's popped up?
Hey, he's got I think he's doing some new. He's doing the reboot for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then he's doing another horror movie, and then he does like a horror podcast as well. I did find something very interesting, which I want to talk to the Rebels cast and Sam Witwer about. Is I found out almost 10 years ago. Someone shout out to Admiral Reeves on Instagram. Go give her a follow. She's awesome. She made it aware to me that Sam Witwer DM'd a Star Wars tabletop campaign for the entire Rebels cast for a charity fund. And it's on YouTube. I haven't had the chance to watch it yet, but I'm so excited to watch it because it's just all of the Rebels cast playing their own characters in Star Wars with Sam Witwer DMing it. And I'm like, I cannot wait because I'm sure that is just, I mean, I'm such a Rebels simp. Like, since the last, I think it was a year ago, I think I said my favorite TV show was Clone Wars. The more I think about it, it's Rebels. Like, I just love Rebels so much. And so if I could meet any of those cast members, dude, like,
man.
Vanessa Marshall would be amazing to meet just because she was one of my favorite Star Wars voice actors even before Hera. In Jedi Outcast, she plays Jan Ors. And she's basically Hera in that game. She's a human, but she's a pilot. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. And she's the love interest for Kyle Katarn, who is kind of like Kanan Jarrus already. And so when I think about that, I'm always just kind of like, did Dave just cast her because she was Jan? And like, I mean, she does an awesome job. So I want to talk to her about that and be like, what was doing that game like? Because obviously I love Hera, but and then Steve Blum, even before Zeb, has done all kinds of different stuff. He does like troopers and all kinds of random aliens and stuff like that. And so I would also love if some Clone Wars people showed up.
It's funny you say that. The year before that, so last year was the Rebels crew. The year before that, he did Clone Wars. So Ashley, Matt, James Arnold Taylor, Sam Witwer, they were all there. And I think Michael said he was the first convention to have all of them there together. And now they're everywhere together. Yeah, dude. So I don't know who he's gonna bring next year. I don't know what his theme is gonna be because this year it was like X-Wing pilots. But
so it's a theme every year.
That's what it like kind of seems like because there was a lot of like X-Wing pilots like this year here.
Yeah,
right. So
there's Dutch Vander, there was Biggs, there was Wedge.
Now and then last year was Rebels. The year before that, Clone Wars. I don't know what the theme for next year is though, but I think I know one person that I have a feeling is going to come back for sure.
Are you allowed to say?
Michael Havens is best friends with Ian McDermott. He is best friends. Ian went to the past couple, and I asked Michael like earlier this year, like Ian's has to be coming. That's your boy, right? He's like, no, he's not going to come this year. Because he doesn't kind of want to have him come every year. So I guess he kind of gave him the year off, or maybe he had plans or whatever. But I have a feeling Palps is coming. And if Palps is coming, when he was there, when I went last year, bro, there was a point where there was nobody at his table. Me and Jose were in the autograph hall, and Jose was like, bro, Emperor's all alone. I have to go talk to him. And he went over and got an autograph and talked to him for a little bit. So if we get to talk to Sheev, like how we've been talking with everybody else casually, oh my God.
I listen, I'll take whoever, dude. You know, people have been there before. I don't care. I would love that. Of course, you know, like you said, the big people, they're kind of they're kind of more exclusive. Like I did see Billy D once at the convention. That was one that I was like, I'm not even going to try. I had met Billy D before. I was standing outside for someone was using the bathroom, I think. And so I was sitting there, and then the security guards rush out and they're like, stand back. And he's on his scooter just rolling by, like into the other hallway. And I was like, well, that's Billy D. Williams right there.
Yeah.
And so I also am really bummed that I didn't get to talk to Warwick Davis, because he was just rolling around everywhere, dude, on his hoverboard. Like,
yes.
I don't know if I don't want to steal their story, but I mean, I know Connor was at Target one day and he just saw Warwick getting a Lego set.
Yeah, like in the parking lot on this little Segway thing. You're zooming away with a bag full of Legos.
I was like, what in the world? That is insane.
Yeah.
Whatever the theme is, now I kind of want to like guess what the theme will be. I have no idea.
Well, my best guess is he's going to start announcing guests. It has to be at least next month, because we're going to be 5 months out next month.
Yeah,
so it's coming up a lot quicker, which is another good thing, because I thought we would have to wait till October again. No, it's going to come up quick and fast. So we should know guests within the next month or two.
I will say the tricky thing is with Ahsoka cast members. I don't know if they'll be able to be there.
Well, they're filming Ahsoka in April, so they're not going to be able.
They won't even be at Celebration, will they?
They probably will, because the same thing happened at Anaheim 2022. Ahsoka literally started filming a week before the first day of Celebration. Bro, okay. They all pulled up. They brought us footage, and they were only filming for a week. So they're going to be in Japan. 100%. They're all going to pull up in Japan. 100%.
I hope we get some Mando cast members, maybe. Brendan Wayne was supposed to be here this past year.
Oh, maybe he'll make up for it and come back.
I hope so, because I had brought my Mando helmet. I'd brought that. That is a comfort banner that I got back. I think I got that right after Mando season 2, when that was like peak Mando hype.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to Brendan Wayne so bad, because like I'm such a big Western fan, and he's the grandson of John Wayne. I mean, and Mando is other than Cad Bane, he's like the cowboy in Star Wars.
Yep.
And so I pulled up and I like had the stuff in the car, and I was like, dude, I can't wait to meet Brendan Wayne. And you're like, oh, he canceled. And I was like, what? And I'm like, well, I guess he's filming a movie, so it
that's why he canceled, because of the movie. Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, we did get Chris Bartlett, who has been in a couple of those projects, so maybe. I doubt Ahsoka people will make it to ICCC, but hey, if we can get Clone Wars, Rebels, all those people in there,
I would love to chat it up with James Arnold Taylor or
oh my gosh, dude,
D. Bradley Baker, man. I just want to talk to him about 99. Be like, bro, 99 is my favorite clone. Nobody likes 99. Let's talk about 99, please.
Dude, you want to know who hates 99?
Lainey.
She's on my hit list, bro. I yell at her all the time. Like, Lainey, I know you're not listening to this, you bum. Because
not an hour in. No, she's not.
No, dude. Not. But she told me the other night, she was like, name 5. I was like, you're the biggest hater, Lainey. And she was like, name 5 things I hate. And I was like, what? It's like, one of them's 99. She was like, I do hate 99. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. Yeah, dude, if James Arnold Taylor could be there, I mean, I've met him twice, but he's just such a nice guy.
I've been listening to his podcast a lot lately on YouTube, and like I just let it play because it's just audio, but on his YouTube channel, I just like listening to him talk about random stuff. It's just freaking Kenobi, man.
Yeah, I know this won't happen, but I would love if Katie Sackhoff showed up.
Oh, me too. Because I love her podcast too. I feel like she would just be so cool to meet there. And I could see her at the bar, just drinking, chilling, having so much fun. She seems like, really, really cool.
Yeah. We'll see. That I mean, I'll take anybody. Ooh, Ming-Na Wen would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Michael, do your magic. Whatever you get, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be spending money on toys that I probably shouldn't. But I'm pumped. I don't think I've said this publicly, and this is gonna either you can laugh. I don't care. When I got back home, me and Will, we rode together. We left the following morning. That hurricane was coming through, and so he had to head back, right? And as soon as I got home and I like unloaded all my stuff, I was like, I might cry right now.
Do it.
I was so sad. I was like, I can't. I mean, it was like a bitter sweet feeling of just like, that was so much fun, and now it's over. You know?
It's hard to have that much fun nowadays with how everything is in life and in the
Hmm.
world. And no, like I've been going to conventions since 2015. Honestly, my number one favorite best con experience was that one, hands down, even over Fan Expo Chicago, where I met Mark 3 times.
Hmm.
Hayden recognized me and remembered me. Even over that, I had more fun at ICCC. Just be like spending
Oh,
time with
dude.
you guys. Felt like a little kid in summer camp, and you can't get
I
that
know.
feeling no more. Like you
Yeah.
don't. Things are just so different. You don't get that genuine feeling, and it's gonna be even more next level next year because now we're more prepared. We're bringing more people.
Hmm.
It's gonna be crazy, man.
It's
I
it's
cannot wait.
it's got me one like again with like Rebel Scum and all these other cons. I'm like now I'm like, all right, I want to go to all of these places, but I think no matter what, ICCC will be special because we all know now we're showing people the light of like you
Yep.
gotta come to this convention, and I'm seeing people of art in the comment section that like I know that weren't there this past year of like I've already got my hotel, you know,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they see our vids and they're like like I gotta go. This warms my heart, and so I'm really excited to meet even more people that weren't able to make it, and of course the people that were there this past year.
Yeah, even in that live I did the other day when the hotels went live, there's some guy was like, "Thank God you're doing this. I never knew about this, and I'm booking my
Hmm.
hotel right now." Some random person in the live stream. So we've all brought so much more light to it,
Hmm.
and we'll keep doing it till we get there. And I cannot wait to get there that Thursday. I'm literally probably next month gonna buy my plane tickets like super early. Like I want
Oh yeah.
everything locked in. Like I'm there. I cannot wait.
Yeah, yeah. I already know it's this just in. Cole will be there.
Yes.
So
That
yeah, yeah.
oh, so that's the one thing that was missing was Cole, and
Hmm.
he has no idea what he I mean, probably from hearing our stories, but, like,
Yeah,
once he ex bro, I cannot wait.
yeah.
Oh,
He told me
Cole.
so with I think it was with Rebel Scum. Was it Rebel Scum? It was one of the two. Either way, he was like he immediately messaged me and he was like, what do I need to do to like get tickets for this, or like what do we need to do? And I was like, for that one we just need to like hold off, you know. I was like, but ICCC,
Yeah.
as soon as the hotels drop, I'll grab it. We don't have to pay until we get there, so we can just split it. Either it's me and you, or me, you, Will, whoever wants to join us. We can split it the 3 ways, and then we'll wait for press applications. And even if we don't, we can just save up some money. But he's and it's going to be better for him because it'll be after school. You know, it'll
Yeah.
be during summer break. So I'm pumped. I'm hoping that all of us can make it, and then you know we can make some cool videos and just hang out, man.
And
Yeah,
Cole, that's the huge unlock. That's gonna
dude. Shout out! I'm just gonna shed some love on my my brother and Mortis here. Cole has been really putting a lot of effort into some of the stuff. We haven't released an episode in about a month, and that is for kind of good reason because Cole has been cooking some things to really kind of
mm,
upend our brand. And so we've got a new like series of videos we're going to start doing here soon that I think people are really going to love. So
nice.
even if we're not, you know, we've been kind of inconsistent, we've got stuff coming, and of course Skeleton Crew is right around the corner, so
Oh, yeah.
that'll be a joy. I can't wait for Skeleton Crew, man. The more stuff they come out with, the more excited I am.
It looks so much fun. It just looks fun no matter what, and if we get a live action Hondo Anako, I'm
Oh,
gonna scream. I will be
it
so
it
happy.
already exists, dude.
It
Like
like
that's the thing. It's like, have you
Galaxy's
seen
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge?
There's a full suit, like, it's ready,
Hmm.
it's ready.
Hmm.
Just take that, have Jim Cummings do
Ours.
the voiceover.
Hmm.
Oh, if we get Hondo and they use Jim's voice,
Hmm.
bro, I might shed a tear of joy.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. His ship is in it, dude.
The ship, and then that throne with the weak-way head looks kinda like that's something that Hondo would do. He would have a
Mhm.
giant throne that looks like him with his treasure everywhere.
Yeah,
I
dude.
hope.
Jim Cummings at ICCC would be pretty legit.
Dude,
I know Connor and Seth got to host a panel for him at I believe it was Indiana
Indiana
PopCon,
yeah.
something one of those cons out there. So you know, Nashville's not that far away from Indiana, right?
Yeah, just get on a plane. He goes to cons everywhere. Like
Exactly.
imagine him just walking around talking like Hondo.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Hondo Naka.
Ah, damn.
Be great.
Well, that's pretty much everything that I had. Do you have anything coming up soon on the channel, or you said you got some stuff cooking?
Yeah, we've I'll try to drop the lightest tease I can. You know, as mentioned, we're gonna try to start doing some gaming stuff, but you know, a lot of people really want to see we think about in Star Wars, who would win in this fight versus this fight and things like that. And so we've got maybe a fight night on our hands at some point here soon. So if you're a fan of maybe wrestling or UFC and you like Star Wars, keep an eye out because we've got something on the horizon that I think people are really going to enjoy.
Awesome. So for you guys watching, the link to his channel will be down in the description. Go subscribe right now. Grayson, bro, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been a blast.
Dude, thank you for having me. As always, you're the best. Thank you again, Michael Havens, all of the guys that run ICCC. I cannot wait for the one in May. And if you're thinking about going, go. You're going to love it. And we'll see you there.
Yep. And that'll be it for this episode of Sith Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.